Hi, Bruce Garner again, missions pastor here at Centerpoint. We've been so encouraged about the world response to what's happened in Ukraine. Investopedia says over 325 countries have said we're no longer doing business in Russia, even though Russia said, hey, we're going to grab your assets and nationalize them, make them our own. That takes guts. That takes a commitment to say we're going to do what's right over making money. Only 40 companies so far have not taken any action at all. That's just great news. But I want to tell you that the same kind of thing is happening to the Uyghur people in northwest China. Well, there's no armies invading, there's no bombs falling, but over 2 million of these people have been incarcerated, detained for no reason except that they're Uyghurs. Maybe they have a beard, maybe they made a phone call outside the country, maybe they had a Bible or a Quran, maybe they went to school. Most of the intellectuals have been imprisoned just because they are the purveyors of Uyghur culture. The Chinese government's own documents say that their intent is to reduce the population of the Uyghurs to a minority in their own homeland. 20% of the 10 million Uyghurs are either have been imprisoned, detained, or are dead. This is a horror and can't be tolerated. We would think that companies would be fleeing the country and say, we're not going to do business here, but it's just not been the case. The companies are just not paying attention. They just give lip service. Apple Computer, for example, most of their stuff is made there. And yet they just gave a large donation to the Chinese government and say, hey, we're doing what we can, but we know that they are complicit in using forced Uyghur labor. We don't want to be a part of that. But what can we do? The Chinese government doesn't care what we say. They only care about what we buy. We could say, hey, let's not buy stuff made in China, and that would be good. I try not to do that. But there's something else we can do. Companies need to know that we want to say to them, don't do this. Don't use forced labor. Imagine if thousands of Christians around the country wrote to every company. There's 183 of them so far that are complicit in using forced labor. What if we wrote to them and said, please don't do this. I won't buy your stuff. Or using forced labor is wrong. We need to raise our voice. I want to just read a passage of scripture to you from Proverbs 24:11. It says, rescue those who are unjust, sentenced to die. Save them as they stagger to their death. Don't excuse yourself by saying, look, we didn't know. For God understands all hearts and He sees you. He who guards your soul knows you well. He will repay all people as their actions deserve. So what action should we take? Hey, we're having a Stop the Genocide letter writing party. So I'm inviting you to come April 2nd, Saturday, 10 to noon. Come for 10 minutes, stay for 2 hours, whatever. I'll have some snacks to eat, something to drink. I'll provide the paper, I'll provide the envelopes, and let's just write some letters to some companies. Jewish World Watch says that the best thing that you can do that the companies will pay attention to is a handwritten letter. It doesn't have to be long. It can just say, please stop using forced labor. Or don't use forced labor or I won't buy your stuff. Signed, whoever you are. So come on out, we'll have a good time doing it, and let's write hundreds of letters. I'm going to give a prize to the person, I haven't decided what it is yet, a prize to the person who writes the most letters. Saturday, April 2nd, 10 to noon in the gathering room. See you there.